Yeah, I'm wearing glasses. Get over it. What is up, Finn fans? Yes, I'm wearing glasses. No, they are not prescription. They are those type of glasses that help with constantly sitting in front of a computer monitor because, my God, are my eyes and my brain melting from my job being consistently in front of a computer monitor. So I have these glasses to help kind of not have my brain melt out of my eyes. So yeah. But today we are going to talk about the Miami Dolphins. They're currently in a bye week. So the title of the video is the title of the video, and it has something to do with kind of turning this team around. Is it possible? We're going to look at the team going into the bye, look at what we've seen and all the things that are bad and all this stuff and all the things that are good. There are some good as well. Then we're going to look at the future, what it entails, also look at how can they improve this team, all that good stuff. So without further ado, without me beating around the bush a little too much, let's kind of look at this Miami Dolphins team. So first, let's kind of look at this Miami Dolphins team. So right now, this is where they rank. Now, offensively, they're bad. And I don't think anyone's really surprised by how bad they are. 32nd ranked in points, they stink. They are 21st ranked in yards, stink. Now we'll get to defense. Don't worry, we'll get to defense. Turnover, they're 12th. They have 6 turnovers. First downs, they're 26. They only have 88 first downs. Their passing offense, high garbage, 23rd. Their rushing offense, pretty good, 16th. Time of possession on their average drives, not bad. It's about 15th. Their plays, 17th. Start on their own 28 is about 21st. But you look at the defense. To me, and we will get into full-fledged more about the defense to me isn't the problem. It really isn't the problem. They're 16th in points, which is kind of in the middle. And I said to you guys when the season started, if we can have the offense that we had last year, and if our defense can be like 15, 16, like give me a mid defense, I think we could be really good. Just so happens our offense is nothing like it was last year, and we'll look at that. They're 6th in yards. 23rd in turnovers. You need a little bit more of those turnovers. They're 6th in first downs. They do not allow a lot of first downs. 4th in passing, 19th in rushing. That 19th in rushing needs to get a little bit better there. They're 1st in average drives, and I will talk about why, especially, you kind of look at that 4th in passing. You're like, well, that's because, don't worry, I got all the statistics for you. I got my glasses on today. You're going to get a lot of nerdy stuff, a lot of stats, statistics, all that stuff. So you see here who we've played. I honestly think that the Miami Dolphins very easily could have beaten Seattle and Tennessee. That's why I'm feeling a little bit like better going into the bye. Worst case, they should have been 3-2. Should have beaten Tennessee if they had better quarterback play. Maybe if they had Huntley for an extra week. But I'll get to that. But this is where I really want to look at right here. You got your third down conversions, 27th and thirds. But first, on defense, this defense is not allowing a lot of third down conversions. They're number 1 in the NFL. They are not great at converting third downs. They are 27th, but that's good. That's very good. And then fourth downs, they are 30th. 14 times we've went for it on fourth down. 14 we've converted 2. 50%, 14th, only allowed 2 conversions. Their red zone is not great, though. 31st in the red zone on offense, 25th on defense. Completely different. Now, obviously, we go to last year, it looks a little bit different, right? But that's because this is the full season. Look at this. 2nd in points, 1st in yards, 1st in passing, 6th in rushing. We had a great offense, and our defense, look, 22nd in points for it. Again, like I said, if we could have had 16th last year, I think we would have won a lot more games than we did. But what I want to look at is our first 5 games here, right? Now, the Chargers game was a good game. Came out 36-34. Great, 1-2 back and forth punch. Went out, beat the Patriots by a touchdown. Demolished the Denver Broncos, came back, got demolished by the Buffalo Bills, and then we played the Giants and 31-16. But here's the thing that I want you to focus on, that the team needs to focus on as well, right? Is it a Tua thing or not? We will get to that. We've got a whole spiel about everything. This season, we beat the Jaguars. They're not a good team. Then we lost to the Titans. They're not a good team. And if you look at it, right, say the Broncos were the Jaguars and say the Giants are the Titans, as in last year. We should have beat them if we had the same offense as last year. The Patriots are the Patriots. We beat them. The Chargers would be the Seahawks in my mind. Not a bad team, but not a great team, and they should have beat them, even if it was a shootout. So that's where I see this team going into the bye, or now currently in the bye, is that if we had better quarterback play against the Tennessee Titans and against the Seattle Seahawks, I think we would have beat them. And I showed you that in the film breakdown when against the Seattle Seahawks, there was like was it the Seahawks? I think it was the Titans. There was like 21 points left on the field because Tyler Huntley was just off. He couldn't, make the passes to Tyreek that he needs to. And then the Seattle game, you had Skylar Thompson affected by the noise of that Seattle, and he just wasn't ready mentally. And you could see it in him holding the ball and not making the right throws and this and that. It just was incredibly stagnant. So to me, if we could go back and I'm not even saying Tua, and again, I'm going to talk about Chris Greer in like 2 seconds. If we had a better backup quarterback, I think the Miami Dolphins very easily could be sitting at 5-1 right now, 4-1 right now in the bye, number 1 in the division. It's, to me, the thing that is holding this offense back is the quarterback play. That's honestly because I think the play calls that are there, and again, go back and watch my film breakdown of the Tennessee-Seattle Patriots game. The play calls are there, and the plays are open. It's a lot of decision-making by the quarterback. So there's that. Now, Chris Greer. I'm going to talk about Chris Greer a little bit, and we'll go into some other things. I don't want Chris Greer on this team right now. Like, and Chris, if you're watching this, which you're probably not, you're like, who the crap is this guy? I don't give a crap about his opinion and what he has to say. It's 9 years, man. And this offense is horrible. And this offense is horrible because a lot of the decisions you and Mike McDaniel make. And I don't know the dynamic or the hierarchy of who's in charge of getting the personnel and this and that. Like, is it Greer is the grocery shopper and McDaniel's the chef? Like, is that the situation they have right now in Miami? But the offense is the way it is right now is because of the backup quarterback situation and because of the interior of the offensive line. It's very blatantly obvious. And that has a lot to do with, again, is it Mike McDaniel being like, I like Skyler, I think Skyler can really work, let's stick with Skyler? Or is it Chris Greer being like, let's stick with Skyler? We could save money in other aspects. How bad is Skyler? Like, I don't know the conversation, but it's biting you in the butt. Because Skyler, Tim Boyle, and again, Huntley isn't bad, but he's just, you're literally throwing him in the fire, trying to get him to pick it up. So that's a big, red. And then the interior of the offensive line. Like, how do you stick with Liam Eichenberg and let Driscoll go when Driscoll had way better preseason than Liam Eichenberg? And that kind of coincides with my thoughts on Chris Greer. And I'm starting to think, and I've been thinking this, but I'm like, nah, he can't be like that. He doesn't want to admit he's wrong in some situations. Like, not knocking Channing Tindall, because I think if Channing Tindall gets a chance in Weaver's defense, he'll be really good. But like, he should have moved on for some players way sooner than he did. But it seems like he is like, I think he can, like, he doesn't want to be wrong. Noah Benogany held on to him for a little bit too long. Even the Liam Eichenberg experiment is going on a little too long. Like, there's a lot of his draft picks that he's just like trying. But then you have, like, I think it was Curtis Weaver. Traded him away instantly. It's an enigma to me. I just don't get it. But it's that interior of the offensive line, and it's the backup quarterbacks. If we had a decent backup quarterback, whether it was Jameis Winston, who was available this offseason, whether it was Joe Flacco, who was available this offseason, whether it's, Jimmy Garoppolo, who was available this offseason. Yes, he would have missed the first 2 games, but we didn't really need him. There was a plethora of backup quarterbacks that would have been way better coming in and probably would have won us games coming in, that they just were like, we're going to stick with Mike White and Skylar Thompson because we trust Tua not to get hurt. And you can't work like that. That's just not how that works. And then again, you let Connor Williams go. He's playing for Seattle. It's not even like he's not playing this year. He's playing for Seattle. Now, Aaron Brewer, I don't know how I feel about that situation, because it does help if you have guards on either side of you that are good, so you don't have to do 3 jobs at once. But it's just... And then your defensive tackle position. I understand that you aren't going to pay Christian Wilkins $27.8 million a year. I totally get that. Same thing with Robert Hunt, paying him $20 million a year. I get it. And I totally get that he tried to sign them and he offered them contracts. He offered Christian Wilkins $22 million a year, but he bet on himself. He won. He offered Robert Hunt a contract. He bet on himself. He won. I understand that, but you need to replace him. Either in the draft, like Sweat for the Tennessee Titans right now is killing it. Now, do I think Chop can become something? I'm going to talk about that in a second, but possibly. But Devondre Sweat would have been fantastic for us as a defensive tackle. He went like 7th pick in the 2nd round. So like 10 picks after, or 20 picks after us in the first. He wasn't first round talent, but you're going to trade up for Liam Eichenberg, trade up for Devondre Sweat. But I guess they liked the thought process of death by 1,000 paper cuts with 9,000 defensive tackles. And it's not working in the aspect of the rush defense. Now, can we make an addition or something like that to change that? Well, we'll see. But a lot of what I wanted to talk about with this bye week is kind of the future and kind of how to turn it around, and can they turn it around? Because for the rest of the season, the Miami Dolphins have the easiest strength of schedule. They have the 41.7% easiest strength of schedule. And you look at it, and again, a lot of people, when the schedule came out, was looking at it and like, oh God. Now, I'm not going to say compare to the Dolphins. I'm just going to tell you who's a good team, who's a bad team. But when you first looked at the second half of the schedule, a lot of people were like, oof, you got to face so-and-so and so-and-so, and like all these teams. Oh my God. And when you look at it now, like the Rams aren't great. They've won one game. The Raiders aren't good. Patriots aren't good. The Browns are not good. We don't know what the Jets are going to be. Packers, they're good, and sometimes they're not. Cardinals and Colts, we'll see. Jonathan Taylor's banged up right now, and I think Joe Flacco is not playing for them this week, which is a crime because their quarterback, that rookie second-year quarterback, is hit or miss when it comes to him just throwing interceptions. Cardinals, they're either really good or it's all up and down. The good teams that the Dolphins will be facing are the Texans, the 49ers, the Bills, and even the Bills are not great, but better. So the good teams that they're faced that I can instantly say, yeah, we're going to lose those games, is the Bills, one of the Jets games, the Packers, the Texans, and the 49ers. So that's what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games that I'm like, yeah, we'll lose. Which puts us at 8 wins, which is 9-8. You're fired. I'm firing everybody. So you gotta pick a win. You gotta, So looking at the rest of the season, after the bye last year, Mike McDaniel came in. He was 5-1. Came off on a red hot start. And kind of did face bad teams. We faced the Raiders, the Jets, the Commanders, the Titans was our loss, then the Jets and the Cowboys again. So we did face one good team, a bunch of bad teams. 2022, we did not come out of the bye great. So we got to figure it out. Now, can they figure it out? Will they figure it out? To me, it all depends on the offense, because a lot of people want to crap on the defense, right? And again, to me, being 16th in points is not bad. It's not great, but it's not bad. It's middle of the pack. It's not bad. It's 6th in yards. And a lot of people say, well, 6th in yards and 4th in passing yards isn't good. because, you know, you can't really go off that because of short field and this and that. And you are 100% correct. So I did some research. I put my glasses on. I did some research. I was like, let me figure this out. And the amount of times over 5 games that the opposing offense started with either short field, meaning like on their own 45, 48-ish, from about 45 to 50-yard line, or in the Dolphins territory, you know, 50 end zone, was 19 times. Over 5 games, the Miami Dolphins defense had to stop the opposing offense 19 times with the short field. 19 times. And out of that 19 times, do you know how many touchdowns they gave up? 7. And some of those 7 touchdowns, I'd say probably about 3 of those 7 touchdowns, they started on like the Dolphins like 30-yard line. They gave up 6 field goals and 2 missed field goals. So the Dolphins defense is actually really not bad. To me, they're top 15 in the NFL because you look at what they've had to do. Look at their pressure rate. Let me show you this real quick. This is their pressure rate. I'm going to make it a little smaller so I can really expand it so you guys can see this chart because it's very, very interesting and they are so close to doing what they need to do, right? So as you see here, down here is quick pressure generated. So meaning like you get after that quarterback quick pressure. And over here is quick pressure forced. So this is generated, this is forced. Look at where the Dolphins are. This is league average, right? This dotted line is league average. This dotted line is league average. Look where the Dolphins are. Right with the Kansas City Chiefs when it comes to pressure. Quick pressure rates. Quick pressure equals pressure within 2.5 seconds. Miami's right here. This is good. To be over here is good. To be here is like elite. The Dolphins are good with the Kansas City Chiefs and the 49ers and the Steelers and the Broncos and the Jets. And like they are clumped in with good defenses. The Miami Dolphins when it comes to quick pressure rate through 5 weeks. The Miami Dolphins get pressure on the quarterback. They just don't finish. Now, is that because on the back end, the coverage is kind of weak in some instances, or is it because of the short field or whatever? Regardless, they have to, and he even explains it down here. He says, faced, which is, let me pop it back up. So faced, which is this one, means quick pressure faced on offense, and generated equals quick pressure generated on defense right here. So they just got to figure it out and they got to get to that quarterback, right? Because to me, the defense isn't the problem. It's the offense. And I've said this time and time again, and I'll keep saying it time and time again. If the offense would answer some of these calls, I'll give you an example I'll give you the Bills game for an example. If the offense would have just answered the defense's calls, because the Bills are our nemesis. The Bills are not even our nemesis. The Bills are a team that just bullies us. So when you look at the Bills game, let me share, right? You can't start with an interception. Because again, look where the defense now has to start for the Dolphins on Miami's 37, right? Score a touchdown, we score a touchdown. 7-7, fantastic. The defense forces a punt, we throw an interception. You can't have that. The offense needs to help the defense. So if it wasn't, and regardless of why, and again, they started on Miami's 44, held them to a field goal, this defense. Punt or anything. But if you could have just gotten 3 points, this could have been different because they're not starting on Miami's 44, right? So regardless, the Dolphins defense holds them to a field goal. You're only down 3. You get the ball back. You got to answer You're facing the Bills. You're facing a team that consistently is your bully. You got to answer, we punt. They, in turn, get a touchdown. You cannot do that. You can't do that. And then we turn over on downs, give it a short field. They get a touchdown off of starting at Miami's 49. Again, another instance where we are putting our backs against the wall. This was the long run, one run play. And how do we answer? With a field goal. So at this point, right, you got 24 to 10 at halftime. You're down 14 points. All right, well, they're getting the ball after half. If our defense can make a stop and we could score a touchdown, we're down by 7. Defense made a stop. Pick 6. Do you see what I'm saying? And then a turnover on downs on the 30, and it's just like one thing after another, after another, after another of turnover on downs. Like, do you see how this Bills game could have been different if the offense would have just answered when the Dolphins defense gave them opportunities by forcing punts, by forcing a punt after the half? Like, answer. You got to do something here. Don't turn over on downs. Don't throw interceptions. Don't throw an interception. Play smart football. So if the Dolphins offense could just be a percentage of what it was last year, I think this Dolphin defense could be even better, because now they can pin their ears back. Now they can really get after these guys. Because I can show you the Titans game when we were forcing field goal, and we were getting nothing on offense. Seattle game, 17 points. For 2.5 quarters, we held them to no points. And our offense could do nothing. So to me, the problem is the offense. So how do we fix that? Well, hope Tua comes back against the Cardinals and he plays like he did last year. Like that right now, it seems to be like the only logical thing, because to go out and make a trade, like there is Russell Wilson out there who the Dolphins or any football team can make a trade for. And, you know, he probably wants to go somewhere to start. You're thinking like the Raiders, you're thinking, you know, one of these teams where he has more of a possibility to start than not. Panthers, maybe. It's too short of a time. If they were to do that, they would have done it by now. They're really going to stick with Tyler Huntley, and they're going to take these 2 weeks to try to get him situated to beat the Colts, and then Tua will be back for the Cardinals. And you got to hope and pray Tua fixes the problems and sees, the touchdowns that are missed. And because a lot of what's happening and a lot of the struggles on offense, and yes, I understand they were struggles in the first game and a half with Tua at the helm, but a lot of these struggles is timing, is quick release, is knowing your guys. Can Tua fix that? I'm hoping. I don't know. But there's that, right? So overall, going into the bye, the offense is the problem. Defense needs to clean it up a little bit, especially with some of the coverage and some of the run stopping. But to me, the offense, it's a yin and yang situation. And then special teams is special teams. They had such a, I don't know what happened against the Patriots, but the other games of the punting wasn't bad and the field goals weren't bad, except for like I think we had 1 or 2 misses from Sanders in the previous week. So to me, it's a yin and yang. Offense, it's complementary football. Offense needs to help the defense as much as the defense is helping the offense, and the defense is helping the offense a lot. And then there's additions, right? Can we make additions? Can we go out and make moves and add players to help us? Now, with this bye week, the players that are eligible to come back. Now, if you practice, you have 21 days to be activated. If not, you're done for the year. So Odell was already activated. He played a little bit versus the Patriots. Smith practiced, so he gets 21 days. I would be shocked if he isn't activated for the Colts game. But then you have Isaiah Wynn, you have River Craycraft, and you have Bradley Chubb. I think we'll get more of an idea of River Craycraft this upcoming week when we get ready for the Colts. Isaiah Wynn and Bradley Chubb, I don't know. Bradley Chubb might be maybe till the Raiders game. Like, it might take him a hot minute to come back if he's going to come back. Hopefully he does come back. And then Isaiah Wynn, I don't know what his situation is. I think it's a pectoral or a bicep injury. We'll see if he comes back, but that would be a huge upgrade for us if he can come back sooner than later and help out getting rid of Robert Jones on that left side. And then all of a sudden we just have one problem in Liam Eichenberg, and then, trade deadline. Trade deadline is week 8. So trade deadline is after the Colts game, or after the Cardinals game. So the trade deadline's coming up. And I'm going to make a whole video about the trade deadline. Are the Dolphins buyers or sellers? Who should they go after? I just boot my microphone, all that stuff. But there are teams and there are players like the Raiders, the Rams, the Browns, etc. Those types of teams that'll probably be sellers, right? The Raiders are probably going to be a seller because by the time the trade deadline comes, I would be shocked if those teams, like the Browns are falling apart. They're losing, and they have a ton of weapons that they could trade away to get assets to have to do. Don't be surprised if they try to give away picks to get rid of Deshaun Watson's contract. Like, find a team that has a high cap space and look, we'll give you a 2nd round pick and Deshaun Watson if you take his cap and give us whoever. But when that trade deadline comes around, I'm going to make a video for that. But overall, looking at this team, is the season over? No, especially because there's a lot of 2-3 and 3-2 teams, and it's kind of a jog lamb, dyslexia, log jam in that area of standings. But for me, what needs to, and even Devin White got cut by the Eagles. Go out and get Devin White. He could help us with the run stopping, especially David Long Jr. has been getting banged up, and, Duke Riley's just been horrible on special teams. So, go out and he's 26. He's young. Go out and get Devin White. Which is going to hurt. Overall, if the offense can to me, it's the offense. If the offense can go back to that high power offense that it was, even against the bad teams, because like I said, the Colts aren't a great team. Defensively, Colts, even the Bills, Cardinals, Rams, Patriots, like the next 6 games are against bad defenses. Colts have the 31st ranked rush defense. Cardinals don't have a great defense. Let me look up the Cardinals defense as of right now. But the Bills don't have a great defense. They're dealing with injuries and all that stuff. But I'll tell you what the Cardinals are right now. Yeah, 27th ranked points for, 25th in yards, 18th in passing, 28th in rushing. Like the Cardinals defense is not good. So you got the Colts, the Cardinals, the Bills, the Rams, the Raiders, and the Patriots again. If our offense can get their heads out of their butts, and if Tua coming back can all of a sudden reignite that offense, they can go on a tear. And I understand 2 of them are on the road, but they can go on a tear. And all of a sudden, you're going into that Thursday night Thanksgiving game, best case scenario, say we win the next 6. You're looking at an 8-3 team. Or you're looking at a 2-11 team. Or, it could go either way. But to me, and what I'm getting from this bye week is the offense needs to wake up. To me, it's the offense that is really holding this team back, and I don't think it's the defense. But the team's only getting healthier. They got to buy. They got to buy when they need it because they are banged up. Maybe, we start out slow, we start out sucky, and we flip it. And the end of the year, they actually start playing good. I don't know. I'm just telling you what's my thought process. I'm giving you my stats with my nerdy glasses. Comment below. Let me know what you think. I know a lot of you guys have already given up on the season. Some of you guys want to tank for a better quarterback. I know a lot of you guys are going to tell me, you don't know what you talk about. Your hopium is this and that. I get it. But I'm just telling you what I'm seeing. I'm telling you how they could turn it around. Will they turn it around? That is for them to do. But I will see you guys, if not tomorrow, definitely Sunday. I'm going to recap Sunday's games Sunday night. But like usual, stay classy. F and top.